Hello, it's Kira. I've been wanting to make more videos and I've just been like so busy with stuff and then I just keep putting it off, but today I was like, I'm gonna make a video. And it's not gonna be just a boring painting time lapse, even though I love doing those, though I don't know if people really want to watch them because most of them don't get that many views. But as my art gets better and more interesting, I'm hoping more people will want to see them. But anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk about combining poetry and art or writing or, whatever, any kind of written stuff with art. And I've seen a lot of people do this. I do it as well because I've been writing poems for a very long time and also songs because I love music and I sing and play the piano and I have a whole bunch of songs on the back burner. So I was thinking about it and I think I'm going to do a series of paintings based on my songs, which I feel like will be really cool because then I can also make a painting video of my process while playing the song that I wrote once it's finalized, because it takes quite some time to finalize a song. But anyway, right now I'm just talking about mainly poetry or even a story. It adds a dimension to your art that wouldn't otherwise be there. As someone who buys art, I love art that has an extra thing with it, like something written by the creator. It just it's so cool to see what the person was thinking when they made that piece, or what the piece is based off of, like if it's a place that they were at or a dream that they had, or based on somebody that they knew or how they were feeling at the time, whatever. It's just cool and it just adds to it. You really can't go wrong with adding another layer on top of your style or your brand or whatever. I don't know, whatever you call it, but it's this additional thing that you're adding with your art. So the way I come up with poems is, usually I will create the painting first and then a title will kind of just come to me. And then also I'll look at the painting and I'll either wait a couple days, or as I'm going through my week, I'll think about the painting and what it means to me. And then this poem will just kind of come to me, through a muse or something. I don't know. It's so weird. I think it's more of a right brain thing than a left brain thing, because it's not I painted a picture of a horse and now I'm gonna write a poem about a horse and I sit down and think about it. That's not how it works. It almost always comes to my mind when I'm doing something else. So many things come to my mind when I'm in the shower. It's so strange. The first song I ever wrote was in the shower. It just came to me and I'm like, oh, this isn't a real song. It's probably something I heard and just a different version of something I heard. And that is something that can happen with songwriting. So that's why I'm always very wary of writing songs, and I have other people listen to them and I'm like, you don't recognize this, right? It doesn't sound like this obvious other song. But yeah, it's just, or when I'm vacuuming or driving or just walking outside, this inspiration just strikes you. But anyway, so it's not like I went and studied the rules of poetry and followed them, and this is if a poet saw my poems, they might be like, this sucks, or this is not poetry, or whatever. And you know what, that's fine. You don't have, not everybody has to like it or have the same perspective. That's what's wonderful about art and your own self-expression. It's like you are doing it, and other people can like it or dislike it, but it's really about the process. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples of drawings and paintings that I did. I think these are mainly like mostly kind of drawing / paintings, and then I'll read off the poems and the titles for the pieces of art. Okay, so the ones that I chose for some reason all have a dance theme, but that's not all that I do. I did these all around the same time, like probably the end of the last year maybe. So this one, it's pretty minimalist. There's not really that much to it. I did some collage here with these notes. But so this one's called Enchanting Dance. And I'm looking at my website because I definitely don't have all these poems memorized. But the poem that went along with this is Dance for the Fun, Dance for the Soul, Dance into the Future, Dance under Stars of Gold. And as I'm looking at this, it just fits. Like, these are literally pieces of art that I haven't looked at in months. And now that I'm looking back and I'm reading the words, it just, like, they just go together. It's so cool. So the next one, this one is called Sakura. The poem that I wrote goes like this. Sakura in the air, blowing in the breeze. Dance under them as they set your mind at ease. And if you've ever seen cherry blossoms in person or been to the Cherry Blossom Festival in DC, like, it's just such a calming feeling, at least for me, when I look at these cherry blossoms, and they're so beautiful, and they're just, I just love them. And this is combining them with dance, they're just two things that I love. And then here's another one. And in these next three paintings, I combine dancers with birds. And for me, it's just such a good combination because dancing kind of makes me feel like free. It's like when I used to go out and dance, it was like time just literally disappeared. It didn't exist. I was in this like flow state, and that's what I love about dancing. It puts you in a flow state, just like drawing and music for me does. And being in the flow state is this like just amazing thing where you don't think, you're just in the moment, and it's complete bliss to me. It's just like a kind of non-toxic way of being drunk. Like, drinking is really bad for your body, and I don't really do it. So like I try to find alternative ways of being in that state, but not a state of unconsciousness. It's kind of like maybe a step above consciousness. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, that's what this reminds me of. It's like just dance is like flying around, like spinning around, and you're just like, it's just so free. And this one's called Reach Up. And the poem I wrote for this is Reach up to the sky, seeing the magic leaves us wondering why. And it's just like a brief summary of just how I felt and how dancing just makes me feel. This one's called Stardust. And the poem I wrote for this one is reaching out to touch you, finding only empty space, smoke through fingers, stardust on your face. And this is just what that reminds me of. Like, those words that's just what came to me when I was looking at this, when I finished it. And this is the last one of that series. This one's called Time Disappears, which is exactly what dance feels like to me. And the poem is: lost in a dream, time disappears. No thoughts to speak of, nothingness envelops me. And yeah, that's just simply what dance feels like to me and what I'm trying to kind of express in this painting. But there's just so much you could do with this, and I'm gonna keep doing it for each painting, even though it does take extra time, and sometimes, you know, you feel uninspired and you're like, oh, what do I write and all this. But one of the things that I've been doing is keeping kind of a journal of just things that come to me, like insights, or if a poem comes to me randomly, or a song. And I've got like probably 100 songs on the back burner that they're just lyrics or ideas. They're in a really rough format. Most of them don't have melodies or anything yet, but even these songs I can use as an inspiration for my paintings, or vice versa. Like sometimes I'll make a painting and it'll just remind me of this song that I wrote, or this poem that I wrote like, you know, last year or whatever. So it's really great to just write down everything that comes to your mind. Also titles. Sometimes like at work, I'll just get like ideas for really good titles for my paintings. So I always have my planner with me and I write everything down, because there's been titles that I wrote like down 2 years ago, and finally like I make a painting and then I'm looking through my list of titles and I'm like, oh my god, this matches. So you could do the same thing with stories or poems or songs or whatever. Or even quotes. Like if you hear a quote that inspires you and maybe makes you think of an idea for a painting, or make a note of that, because that's background that you could give about your process, which is really important as an artist. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the subject. I hope you found this inspiring or interesting or useful in some way. But I enjoyed making this video. I really like making videos and talking about art and inspiration and stuff. So thank you for watching. Bye.